for Independence Day Resurgence review. I'm Scott.
I'm Sam.
And we're going to be reviewing Independence Day.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about it? Well, first off, we should probably do our spoil-free review of the people who should go to the movie or not go to the movie. What do you think?
Okay. Those of you who have seen it, like the original back in 1997 or 96, whenever it came out, yes, perhaps you might want to go see it. But I would recommend doing like matinee or dollar theater, not full price.
I'm kind of the same way. Like, I think that if you really enjoyed the first one, see, the thing is, the first one was good for certain things, and so if you enjoyed it a lot, you probably won't enjoy this one because the story and the characters aren't quite there. But if you enjoyed the first one for the destruction and the mayhem and cool
effects,
the ways that they use the aliens and like how the ships were interesting, how the alien bodies were interesting and stuff, you probably like this one. Like this one has a lot of that similar stuff in it.
I'll give it that much.
So
absolutely.
Depending on if you're that kind of person. If you're just an explosion junkie, you want to see explosions and stuff,
go for it.
You'll be good.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, now on to the spoilers. It sucked!
It sucked. Really? Wow, you said...
Okay, so just an overall, my feeling towards the movie. The beginning, yes, it had a slight amount of cheese to it, but it didn't seem bad. It looked like, okay, this could potentially be really, really good, you know? Oh no! It goes from okay to bad to worse.
I don't even think it was okay.
I'm giving it too much credit.
As a movie, it had some big problems. Actually, realistically, if you want my true opinion, so there's such a big span between this. It's sort of like the Star Wars franchise. They had to come up with some sort of reasoning of what happens in between. But luckily with Star Wars, they're like, yeah, stuff's happening in between there. It'll be more explained, but we're going to give you the stuff you need to know.
The present day.
The new characters, kind of why they are, how they have a good relationship, and, the old characters, how their relationship coincides with the new characters, and go. This one, they tried to do the same thing, where the first they start introducing the old characters, but we're missing so much, and there's no reason to like these characters. Like, in the first one, when they introduced Will Smith, it's like, he's a down-to-earth guy, he's like a dude who's just getting through his life, and he wants to take care of his family, and then spaceships happen.
I think the problem is that they were trying to shove in too much too quick, and they couldn't spend nearly as much time on each individual character to give them credit.
Well, the first part in this, they go into the White House with like the president, and she's giving like a big speech. And
it's a Madam President, by the way.
Yeah, and so they go into her office, and like she gives this big great speech, and this one girl goes, "Great job, Madam President," and she's like this little kid. I'm like, is that like her daughter or something? It's like, it's supposed to be the daughter from the first president from the first movie.
Yeah, President Whitmore.
And she's a president's aide or something now.
Yeah, I think she's like the president's aide.
And so they're standing in the Oval Office, and then basically Will Smith's kid comes in, who's supposed to be this like renowned fighter pilot. You never know any of that because you never saw any of that. And
they did show that portrait of Will Smith in the hallway. I think that was our introduction to his kid. That Dylan character.
Yeah.
I think that's what that was.
Yeah, it's definitely, I knew it was his kid. I knew that that's what had happened, but in the same regards, it didn't make any sense. And then the girl's like, yeah, you're going to the space station or up to the moon base or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow. It's like, oh, cool. Well, say hi to, the guy from my friend or whatever. It's technically her boyfriend. And he's like, yeah, I'll say hi to him. Don't punch him. Well, we have no clue what's happening here. Like, it's fine if they're going to explain it, but they don't really explain. They say, like, oh, at one point, the boyfriend character tried to kill Dylan. Or, okay, like, that would probably be interesting to see. I would probably like to see that story unfold and stuff. I would like to like get to know the script. No, you don't get to see any of that. You don't get it. Like they punch on each other once and then they're best friends. Like it's just so forced. It's so like
everything about it is so forced.
The relationships are so contrived. And, like the acting, especially on Goldblum's side, is like.
Precious!
Wow.
Beyond precious!
It gets...
Good job, Goldblum.
There was literally one point where... and there's a couple people in our theater who were laughing at every joke. Every single thing they said is the funniest thing.
And I was laughing at the people in the theater because I'm like, you thought that was funny? What's wrong with you?
But there's this one part. It was not supposed to be funny, but me and Sam had to crack up laughing where Goldblum's like, oh, I'm... You know,
He's flying for the first time.
Yeah, I've never been.
And if you remember from the first movie, he hated flying. You know, like, oh, what was I thinking? You know, and so naturally they had to bring that up again.
Yeah, he's like I'm gonna click into. He's like flying's not so bad. It seems pretty smooth. And he's like, well, I haven't turned it into warp drive or whatever.
Or turbo.
Gone to plaid. And so he clicks it into the their warp drive thing or whatever.
And then of course naturally they woo. You know.
Well, they cut back to Goldblum, and you'd think he'd go, oh my god, like look ill, but he just goes.
Like, shut up!
It's so funny. I couldn't help from laughing at. It's like. Yeah, you look real scared, Goldblum. You look like you're really struggling there with like a turd or something.
Well, and I want to bring up President Whitmore, who was essentially the hero of the last movie. He saved the world with Will Smith, whatever, and they made him come off as crazy. And I'm like, he was a freaking hero, man! Like, I did not like how they portrayed him.
I think the backstory is that in between the first Independence Day and this Independence Day, he saw a ghost. He saw Casper. That's why he looked so shamble. That's why he looked so hobo-like.
See, I was thinking that he let himself go after Spaceballs, Lone Star. But no, I felt so bad that he was one of my favorite characters in that movie, and of course he had his iconic speech at the end, like, we will not go quietly into the night, and of course they brought that up like how many times in the movie? 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it was a good speech, but enough is enough,
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. So apparently we're on the moon now. We've got a space station on the moon.
They built their moon base, and then they put this. That's such a precious moment. They built this giant gun, and they're installing it. And they have these things called tugs, which are these like little like spaceships with grappling arms that can like tug back and forth to
so
move
it's
something.
like a tugboat.
Sort of, yeah. And so they're moving this big giant weapon into place, and they're placing it, and they put it down in the thing. And one of the guys is the guy is talking to his friend.
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. They end up accidentally dropping it, and Liam Hemsworth is like, "Oh gosh!"
He's like, "I'm going to fix this."
Yeah,
and he blows out his poor little tug ship, trying to push it back into place.
Well, that's not even the thing. Like, I mean, like everyone else is told to go away. Why did they tell all the tugs to go away? Why didn't they just tell them to grab it and pull it? Like, obviously, if one tug can push it into place, why didn't they just have all of the tugs stay there and grab it back into place?
Probably because they didn't want any of them to get smushed.
And then here's the other thing. He flies down towards where it's falling, and then launches himself back up towards it, and he like smashes himself into it. Like in the show, he like grabs it really like slowly, and it's fine. But it's like, why didn't you go around the back and pull it up? Wouldn't that have been probably a better idea? I don't know.
Whatever.
It's Independence Day too. I mean, there's not a lot of logic or real thought thrown into these things. The CG looks amazing. The ships look amazing. All of the sci-fi stuff
CGI,
is awesome.
The sci-fi stuff, all of that. And I'm going to give it one good kudo. The world that they've now created with that alien technology that they've had for 20 years, it's actually pretty kick-ass. Like, I like the way that the world works and how technologically advanced we are, and the buildings and the transportation. I'm like, see, that's where we should be at now. We're the primitive ones. They're not, And I don't know. So I just like the world that they lived in.
And some of the key story plot lines to get along a little quicker. there's a big ship, a big round ship that comes through, and
we had no
president
idea.
has to decide whether to shoot or not. We're not sure if it's friendly or not because it doesn't look like the old aliens. So they're like, well, this is alien technology, so let's just shoot it down. So they shoot it down.
But Goldblum is trying everything possible. No, I don't think it's the same aliens. Blah blah blah.
And so he ends up like going back up there, searching the rubble, even though he's told not to, and he finds like the core or something that's inside the rubble from the ship, and he's like, "This looks important. Let's take this." So they grab it before the actual aliens come through, and then they start their whole war. Actually, did they come through the portal, or were they just floating in space?
They were just floating in space. They didn't actually come through the portal.
They had like a cloaking thing. I don't know how well that would work. I mean, like, I guess it works fine. I guess it was undetectable because we didn't see it coming, but, whatever. It didn't make a lot of sense. The aliens were there with a ship that's as big as, like, a quarter of the Earth. Like, literally, that's how big the ship is. The ship is flying over the Earth. And
they said it was, 3,000 square miles or something?
Yeah, it went from, like, because they hit, like, the London Bridge.
Yeah, they hit London.
And
basically, they went from one coast to the other coast and covered the entire Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
So they destroyed pretty much the eastern seaboard in the U.S. and then all of Europe along their coast.
Yeah.
Including England.
And they stopped right before they hit the White House. You notice that?
Oh, yes! And then the flag is the only thing that got hit. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I think I said that out loud. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and then some of the precious gems that are in this movie have to be the stupid one-liners. They like to get the landmarks.
Yeah. My butt's hanging out.
It's like, why didn't you tell me my butt was hanging out?
Yeah, that was stuff that people laughed at. Like, one of the main scientist guys, the guy from the first one who you thought was dead.
Dr. Oaken, who's kind of cray-cray.
Yeah, you thought he was dead when he got, like, strangled by the alien. No, he's actually put in a coma.
For 20 years!
Yeah, for 20 years. He
7,500 days! They actually tell us that.
Yeah, like, his scientist buddy goes in there and says, oh, it's been 7,000, something days. And it's like, wait. You've been coming in here and telling him every single day that it's like 7,459 days, 7,050 days, like, and you're just his scientist buddy. You're not like his family. Doesn't he have family to do that for him? Like, aren't you like someone who probably should like get on with their life too? And he wakes up and it's like,
personally, they probably should have pulled the plug. 20 years living off of the government. Just saying.
And I noticed that they shaved his face. Kind of. He was still scraggly, kind of like me. But he had his long hair. It's like, so they shaved his face, but they didn't cut his hair.
I don't know.
Not anything really noticeable.
Well,
but.
and another sweet little gem. We'll move forward to. Okay, so Goldblum's dad, who was, in my opinion, one of the better characters in the previous movie. I thought he was funny. He was good comic relief.
He was a good opposite to Goldblum, who was excitable about the alien experience. He was very unexcitable.
In this, they make him come off as a moron.
Yeah.
Like, when he sees the alien ship for the first time, because he's out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean fishing or whatever, and he's like, "Sweet Moses!" And I'm like,
oh, Sweet Moses.
Sweet Moses. Yeah. Anyway. Go ahead, keep going.
I think, okay, along with some of the really awful things, the funny thing is this movie is so up and down. Because, like, the spaceships were cool, and like, every now and then you'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool, like, little scene. That's kind of a fun little setup and stuff there. And then just dumb stuff happened, dumb acting, dumb, premises. And then you get, like, the big spaceship lands, and they actually fly up inside of it. And I'm like, oh great, it's gonna be just like the last one where they're gonna fly up inside the spaceship and try and
actually pretty cool.
In the spaceship was like their home planet. Like they had like bogs and stuff in the bottom of the spaceship
and
that
had
were like
crops and
like it was actually kind of neat to see like
that they had their own ecosystem in there.
And I had totally forgotten that they that you can split their heads open and they open up and the little alien comes out. There was a real quick side characters. There's also Goldblum has this accounting guy who's supposed to pretty much fill in as Goldblum from the first one, kind of.
Annoying! I was like, okay, kill off this character anytime now. Did they?
Yeah, he
No.
didn't have any real reason. And then there was the big warlord guy who was
Warlord guy
awesome.
from
Who
Africa.
like he like murdered a bunch of aliens after like it did have sort of a District 9 feel of like how life has gone on after the aliens attacked. And he's really like a warlord in this area that's had to kill like a ton of aliens. He has like marks all over his arms on how many aliens he's killed.
And he kills them from behind.
Yeah,
That's
he's
how
like,
you get 'em.
killed from behind, and like one of them is attacking Jeff Goldblum and all of them in one of the rooms, and he comes from behind and he slashes the guy's head, and you see it fall down, and then its face pops open, and the other alien's crawling out, and it was like, that's cool. That was I kind of had forgotten about the faces opening up, and I'm like, these aliens, even though these movies, especially this movie, was not great. That's a fun take on an alien. Like, E.T. was trying to break the alien mold and make a different alien that we haven't seen really before, you know what I mean? And then we've kind of gone back to aliens that have the long heads and the big eyes. And these ones, I like that they're different shaped, you know what I mean? I think that that's pretty cool. Story-wise, as long as it goes...
To me, it kept getting worse and worse and worse. It was like as if by the end, they were so tired from doing all that CGI, they gave up on the story and gave them the worst lines. Like, the very end, it was just cheesy line after cheesy line after cheesy line. I'm like, oh.
Well, real quick premise of the ending. They basically, you know from the beginning when Jeff Goldblum finds that thing that's going to save them, because the whole time the aliens are kicking their ass, like boom, 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 you're never going to win, and it's like, okay, well, the thing that they have must be the crowning glory. That must be something that they either kill and all the aliens go away, or it's something that's like a massive weapon that somehow came to them. It's so dumb. It's like this big white orb that's like, we're the big white orb?
And we have the key
right.
to killing them. But even though I'm the last one of my kind, because they killed us off.
No, they didn't think it. No, he says, we have a planet of resistance where we train against these aliens, and we come back and then we can, kill them and stuff. But I wasn't trained for some reason, or I didn't come with all the tools for you to survive, so yeah.
So tell them what happens at the very end.
Basically, they disguise, they turn the orb off, say, okay, orb turn off, and its unique signature, its unique radio signature, whatever, they put onto a...
they gave a fake
radar
truck, like a fake signal, and so who was it was President Whitmore.
President Whitmore.
Old President Whitmore.
He comes in and he says, they say, oh, we have to have someone sacrifice themselves to fly all these bombs along with this radio thing into the ship, because the ship's going to be chasing this thing. And so he's like, I'll do it, blah, blah, blah.
And of course the daughter's like, no! Don't let him on that ship! And he tricks her anyway.
He flies off.
And flies up his butthole a bunch.
Again,
right?
Yeah, again, same thing as happened in the first one.
Same as the first one.
But this one, they have this big mother alien thing that's like this gigantic alien.
So...
Again, cool, actually kind of cool. I like it. It has these big kind of gripping claws, sort of like in the new Godzilla movie, the Mothra type character had those big kind of claws. That was cool. They blow up the atom bombs in front of the alien, and the alien doesn't die. The alien gets back up, and because they started the orb back up too soon, it finds the orb, and it starts this whole thing over again. Basically,
luckily they get through the Queen's armor, because she has her own defense mechanism. Anyway, they finally break through it, and they end up killing her, which to me is stupid. If I was the Queen, I wouldn't be I'd stay inside my ship. I'm sorry.
And then it ends with the orb thing telling him, well, are you going to come to our planet and train? Yeah, we're going to come and...
It's like, you're not as primitive as we thought you were. We want you to lead our resistance. And they're like, yeah, let's go kick some alien ass. And it's like...
First off, they thought, if they're like this advanced alien technology, they thought that we weren't capable of even like being part of their group. And the guy, the main scientist, Dr. Oaken finds all the weapons. He's like, they have all these weapons, they have all these cool things that we can fight the aliens with, and it's like, cool, but you're giving us those? Like, we can't even get along as a race ourselves, as a society ourselves. You're going to give us, weapons that can destroy intergalactic aliens and give us spaceships that can fly intergalactically through space?
They brought up the fact that the world has come together, honey, remember? So... That's kind of a moot point. I'm just saying.
I
They could be totally full of crap.
I didn't see any United Army, type stuff. It was
I know, it's
it was
mostly
the
the
Americans.
US,
They
yeah.
even said this is an American broadcast, and so it doesn't really seem like the other armies were exactly on board for this thing.
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, it's a fun movie overall. Go see it if you like explosions.
Don't pay full price for it like we did.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.